Hello everyone, as you requested, we're making a comprehensive guide on farms for you. Today, right before your eyes, we'll create a small starter farm and answer all your questions. This episode will be quite long, so I'll break it into sections and you can jump to any part you need at any time. This video is made as a supplement to the board we already created for our Telegram subscribers. And despite that, there will definitely be information here that we didn't cover on the board. In this video, you'll learn how much a farm can earn and how much it costs to set one up, how to create an account that's indistinguishable from a real user, and how to properly warm up accounts so they last long and prosper. Is it possible to just buy accounts instead of creating them manually? Well, spoiler alert, of course you can, but there are a lot of pitfalls you probably didn't know about. Why panels are really needed, which ones to choose, which ones are better to avoid, how to deposit, and most importantly, withdraw money from Steam without losing out on commissions. You often ask us this question in the comments. We'll break down the concept of ban waves and how to avoid them, and also one bonus tip that will significantly increase the lifespan of your accounts. You've been asking us for a long time to make a long video in our style, without any fluff and with up-to-date information. Well, here it is. Meet our little farm with 283 Prime accounts. These aren't all the computers, but we won't need them today anyway. Today, we're going to set everything up on this big guy. This is my main computer. We've actually been asked more than once, is it okay to run a farm on your main PC, or is it better to build a separate one? It all depends on your goals. If you spend a lot of time on your computer, I recommend building a separate one, because the computer running the farm will be constantly occupied and you won't be able to use it to its full potential. Before we start creating our farm, let's break down what a farm actually is, since some newcomers who are just starting out in this area might have stumbled upon this video, though honestly, you probably wouldn't be watching this if you didn't already know what it's about. But still, in CS2, there's a weekly drop system, which allows you to get a drop every week when you level up. Usually it's always one case and one skin. Skins, like cases, are divided by rarity and price, and the profitability of your farm directly depends on your luck. In the current situation, with all the recent updates, cases and skins have dropped in value, but still, one account brings in on average at least $1 per week. It takes us about 12 weeks, or almost 3 months to break even on Prime. We base our calculations on these numbers. If our goal is to earn $1,000 a month, then we need about 192 accounts that will receive their well-deserved drops every week. I hope you've grasped the essence of what a farm is, and now we can move on to creating one. The first thing you need to do, if you don't already have your own PC, is to choose suitable hardware so that your computer can handle this kind of load. Now I'll display the average system requirements for the panels on the screen. Read them and compare them with your own computer. On our farms, we use a Xeon 2680 V4, 64GB of RAM, and a 2060 Super graphics card. For us, the most important component is always the processor, followed by the RAM, and only then the graphics card. If you're building a large farm or just want to save money, I recommend getting a bundle. It'll be cheaper this way, plus you won't have to mess around with compatibility issues. Let's assume the computer is ready and we can move on to setting it up. This isn't strictly necessary, but it's recommended for better performance. The first thing we do is update Windows. If there aren't any important files on it, you can even reinstall it completely. That's even better. Second, update the drivers for your processor and graphics card. This is also very important. Third, be sure to allocate a page file so your system doesn't freeze during farming. You can also install a program like memredact. It will clean your RAM when it reaches critical levels. Looks like we've sorted out the computer. Now let's move on to how to properly create accounts, since we need something to farm on. There are many ways to create accounts. You can either register them manually, I'll show you how to do that in a moment, or buy ready-made ones if you value your time, of course. Take any anti-detect browser. I'll be using ADS. Create a profile with the settings you see on the screen right now. Connect a proxy to it. You can use whichever one you like. The main thing is that it shouldn't be a data center proxy to increase trust. You can register no more than 5 accounts per proxy, and ideally even fewer. Buy residential or mobile proxies, insert them here, and launch the profile. The first thing you'll see is your IP address. Be sure to check that your main address isn't leaking and review the brief information about your browser fingerprint. Next, go to the creep.js website or any other IP scanner and take a look. If you see that there's a WebRTC leak, it means you got a bad proxy. Keep changing them until you get a clean address. In general, there are many ways to change your IP, and you don't always have to buy proxies. If you have mobile internet on your phone, you can simply create a hotspot and use it to make an account, and when you're done, just switch to airplane mode. And just like that, you have a new IP. You can share your hotspot again and create the next account. There's also a way to get a rotating IP from your provider. You can call your provider and ask what kind of IP you have, rotating or static. Most likely it will be static. Ask them to switch it to a rotating IP, and every time you restart your router, you'll get a new IP address. Once you've made sure you have a clean address, you can go to the Steam page and start registering your account. I recommend keeping a table of your accounts at the same time. Notion is a good option for this. If anything, I'll leave a convenient template in Telegram. The email you use to register your account must be trustworthy. No first mail, crazy mail, 10-minute mail, and so on. I also recommend avoiding Mail.ru, Rambler, and Yandex because all these email services are indirectly connected to VK, which is probably the main ambassador of multi-accounts worldwide. The best email services you can use are Gmail, Outlook, and iCloud. Sometimes you might run into issues with Gmail since they have strong protection against multiple accounts, but Outlook and iCloud are our best friends here. I'll share a little life hack on how to get 750 unique email addresses, mailboxes, for next to nothing. If you have an iPhone, iCloud has its own subscription service. It costs around $5. The price might vary depending on your region, I think. Once you buy it, you can create up to 750 aliases for your main email. Aliases are basically like nicknames. For example, if you have the email QWERTY123@icloud.com, you can create an alias for it, say QWERTY1234@icloud.com, and all emails sent to that alias will automatically be forwarded to your main email. You can do the same thing with Outlook, but there you can have far fewer aliases, although registering them is easier. So just choose whichever option you prefer. We entered the email, password, confirmed the email, and got a blank account. Don't worry if your profile doesn't open right away. Steam is a tiny indie company, so it needs some time to load your data. Wait a little bit, and then go to your profile. Fill everything in with unique information, your own avatar, nickname, and description. The next step is to add $5 to your account to unlock the marketplace and other features. You can do this in various ways. You can buy a $5 gift code and activate it on your account, or you can top up through third-party sites or with a card, but I strongly advise against doing that so your accounts don't get linked through the same payment method. Prime costs $15, so after unlocking the marketplace, we can add the remaining $10 with skins. Money in Steam isn't as valuable as real money because you can't withdraw it directly, so we look for the most profitable skins to top up with on third-party markets and buy them. There are different types of skins. For example, if you buy a CS2 skin, you'll get a trade ban and will have to wait a week before you can sell it. But there are skins, for example from Rust, that do not have a trade ban, and once you receive them on your account, you can sell them immediately. However, because of this, the profit margins on them are usually not as high as on Counter-Strike 2 skins. If you search well, you can deposit money with a profit margin of plus 30 or even plus 40%, which speeds up the payback of your farm, so don't neglect this method. Later on, you'll be topping up your accounts with cases from your own farm, which will be even more profitable. Also, when creating an account, you will definitely need to link it to Steam Guard. For this, you can use applications like SDA or Nebula Auth. It's better to use Nebula, since SDA has not been supported for a long time. Be sure to save the account files so you don't lose them. When creating accounts, you may also be asked for a phone number. This doesn't always happen, but sometimes it does. Don't worry, just go and buy a temporary number. 5SIM, SMS Activate, Online SIM. There are literally hundreds of these services, so just pick whichever one you like, and that's it. Confirm your phone number. Once we've fully created and filled out the account, we don't immediately go play CS and buy Prime there. Before that, we need to spend about a week warming up the account, play 100+ hours in 20 or more different games, and buy other paid games. There are dedicated websites for this, where you can find the cheapest games on Steam. Level up your profile to at least level 4, add friends, write reviews for games, and join communities. Basically, do everything you can to make the account look as human as possible. And of course, we're not idiots to do all this manually. There are different programs for these needs, for example ASF. There is a ton of information and guides online about how to set it up, so we won't dwell on that here. After we've completed activities on the accounts and they already look like real users, we go and reach rank 2 in CS2. It's important, guys, we don't buy Prime until we've reached rank 2 in the game. Again, let me repeat, if you can't be bothered with all this tedious stuff, you can just buy ready-made accounts and not stress yourself out. Now, let's talk about how to do that. Let's start with where you can actually buy them. Most often, accounts are bought from trusted sellers on Telegram or on sites like FunPay, LOLs, Payrock, and so on. Let's go over both options. For example, let's take the well-known FunPay. Select the game CS2 and the accounts section. Set it to For Sale, Prime Available, and Auto Delivery. Next, look through the listings, sort by price, and find the seller with the best rating. In short, a 5 is great. A 4 means you should be cautious and read the comments. If it's below 4, just skip it right away. We don't need that. After we've found a decent seller with a good rating, we read the product description and check the following points. First, the account must come with its original email. Second, there should be no restrictions or bans. Third, the account hasn't been used for farming before. And fourth, always check the warranty to avoid losing money in the process. Ideally, you can prepare a message to send to sellers when making a purchase, but that's up to you. If something goes wrong and the account turns out to be faulty, you'll get a replacement right away, and if not, just open a dispute on the order and the admin will help you. The main thing is that the product description includes the point related to the issue you encountered. Third-party services are pretty straightforward. Now let's move on to sellers who operate on Telegram. Here, you can't just look at the seller's rating and no one will give you a choice among hundreds of sellers. But there are also some advantages here. Usually in these underground spaces you can find accounts that are much cheaper and of better quality than on the services, but finding them is much more difficult. Unfortunately, no one paid us for advertising in this video, so we won't be giving you any contacts. Besides, if you get scammed based on our recommendation, it would be more our problem than theirs. We can only say that you can easily find them in the general chats of various panels, but don't rush to look for them. There are a lot of pitfalls here. For example, when buying an account, not only can you simply be deceived and scammed outright, but you might also run into people who first sell you accounts. You start farming, and everything seems to be going well for you. You come back, buy yourself more accounts, and then more. And this goes on until one fine day they simply get recovered. But how? The thing is, there are several ways to recover an account. When selling the account, the seller might not have given you the original email or simply didn't tell you the first top-up code that was used on the account. If the top-up code seems like a trivial thing to you, well, for Valve support, it's not, and it can easily become a reason for recovering the account. That's why, before buying, we always ask for the original email, the backup email linked to the original, and even the first top-up code used on the account to protect ourselves. Before the new year, we plan to launch our own service for registering and warming up accounts for farms. This will help avoid scams and unreliable sellers, so make sure to subscribe and stay tuned. So we've either bought or created the accounts, let them warm up for a week, reached the second rank in the game and bought Prime. Now we have a ready database of accounts with MA files and we can move on to the panels themselves. There are different types of panels. We've already covered how they work, how much they cost, and which one to choose in this video. Be sure to watch it if you haven't seen it yet. Today we'll be creating a farm using the standard panel. To do this, we go to their Telegram bot, purchase a subscription, and install everything necessary for work. By the way, all the links will be pinned in our Telegram channel. Initially, we planned to make a detailed guide on where to click and what to do inside the panel itself. But after long discussions with the panel developers, we were even asked not to show the process of how it works. And we completely understand them, because the more confidentially the panel operates, the more stable and longer it will work. But we still found an alternative. And if you're still interested in seeing how we break down all the panel settings in the smallest detail, you can check it all out on our board, which is pinned in our Telegram channel. Next up, we have a pretty popular question: how to withdraw money from Steam profitably, and most importantly, how to withdraw it without losing money on commissions. Let's start with how to deposit funds. There are different ways, and the most popular ones are gift codes, which we already used to top up our account at the beginning, keys from the game Team Fortress 2, and buying up profitable skins on marketplaces. Let's break down each of them. Gift codes are the go-to option for those who don't want to bother at all. It's extremely unprofitable, but it's quick. You buy it, activate it, and that's it. The money is on your balance. Next up are Team Fortress 2 keys. This method is more interesting, because here we can actually top up our balance with a percentage gain. You buy keys from a seller for $1.62 and sell them on Steam for $2.10. Voila, we've topped up Steam with almost a 30% gain. It might seem like it can't get any better, but there is a way. Unlike with keys, here you'll have to put in a bit more effort and gain some knowledge about trading on Steam. The method is to look for the most profitable skin on the market, which you can then sell on Steam. It's not an easy task, but some platforms like Pulse can help you with this. They sort skins from all the markets and help you find the most profitable ones. Just make sure that when you choose a skin, you check how often it's bought on Steam, otherwise you might end up buying a very profitable skin, but then either won't be able to sell it, or it will take you a long time. With this method, you can deposit a balance with up to a 40% bonus. Be sure to deposit with a bonus, because the profitability of our farm drops significantly otherwise, and we'll start earning above our investment much faster. And as we promised at the beginning, we'll give you a bonus tip that will extend the lifespan of your accounts many times over. In fact, it's all simple and straightforward. It's warming up your account. We've already come a long way in this field and have made mistakes more than once that ended up getting our accounts banned. After analyzing them, we came to the conclusion that warming up your account is the most important part. Your account should look as much like a real user as possible. It should constantly play games, interact with people, make trades, and do lots and lots of other tedious routines that I'm sure none of you actually want to do. Nevertheless, this is a fact we've learned the hard way. Warming up your accounts just once before you start farming is not enough, and for long and productive work, I recommend warming them up at least once every week or two. How to do this properly? Honestly, I don't even know how many times I've said this in this video. Guys, we have everything on the board, it's all in the Telegram channel, so just go there and check it out. This is completely free information. You don't have to pay anything, nothing at all, it's all just free. Well, it seems we've covered all the theory on how to set up your own farm. Now all that's left is for you to move on to practice and apply all the information you've learned. Guys, as always, if you still have any questions about the farm, write them in the comments. We'll definitely reply to everyone and help however we can. You are watching the Pachita channel. If you found this video helpful, please support it with your comment. Thank you all for watching and see you in the next equally interesting video.